Welcome to another episode of Hair Biz Radio with your host, Zakiyrah and
Mikey.
We got some good energy in the building today. If you're watching, I don't know, y'all should be in the room, in the podcast room, because the lights, the decor, everything is just lovely. Like, it makes me feel posh in here.
Yeah, we got a nice studio now.
Yeah, the studio is amazing. Today, we are going to talk about customer service, customer experience. I think it's very important that is literally at the forefront of your business. You want to make sure that your clients, your customers, people who are being introduced to your company, to your business, they are all taken care of, and that starts on the front end. It starts on the back end, really, so that you can see it manifest on the front end. So today, we're going to be talking about customer service, customer experience. We have a special guest with us on today, Victoria. She is actually a customer service representative here at Private Label Extensions. And so what better way to discuss this topic other than bringing the people on who are literally in the mix of it all day, every day. Before we dive into the conversation, Mikey, is there anything we need to cover? Housekeeping.
I love how old school Zakiyrah is, because she still calls private label extension, but it's still appreciated. We still have.
I'll get better.
I still got the trademark for that too, by the way.
I did it last time too.
Don't try to take that. Other than that, I am self-proclaiming myself as the world's first hair business streamer.
Period.
Okay.
YouTube streamer.
Yep. Streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
Our Facebook group, and then the Hair Business Blueprint Facebook page. So make sure you go to Hair Business Blueprint on YouTube. Check out some of my streams. I'm literally on there building hair companies from scratch.
Oh yeah,
and giving the websites away.
Mm-hmm. We talked about doing a giveaway on the podcast one day.
So I'm just having fun with that and creating content and getting organized and working with the team directly on projects. We got some new products coming out, some new lashes and other stuff. So we're busy. But you know what? Since we got Victoria here, this is a very special moment. Because she's been with the private label family since 2019. Yeah. And she has a lot of experience. I'm talking dealing with probably tens of thousands of customers at this point. Yeah. In the Atlanta showroom.
Definitely.
That boy busy. Okay. So she has been through it. And I would love to get into the experiences and working with all types of customers, good customers, those customers that are a little challenging.
Right. Yeah, challenging and chatty. Right. The chatty patties.
Let's get it. Where do you want to start, Z?
Let's start with your background. So you've been with Private Label since 2019, but you've actually been in customer service for over 10 years.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what was my main thing when it came to being in a job, was helping people. Everybody said, like, "Are you so helpful? You always want to make sure people get the best." Like, yes. So that's kind of what I started in college, undergrad. I worked as a CSR at Pizza Hut for y'all see, I stayed at a job for a long time. Yeah. And that's how it all started. I started that job in 2014 and I left in 2016. So that was over 2 years of just working a fast food job. I got promoted to head CSR up there because of how devoted I was to helping the customers and getting it all done. Came up here, worked a little bit in mass media after I got my degree. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not having too much fun in this field like I thought I would. So I applied for this job and I got hired after 3 interviews. Yeah. I remember you were my last interview and I was like, oh my gosh. Yep. Zakiyrah and 2.0 interviewed me and I was like, wow, I love what you guys have done with this. I was so excited. And once I started working here, I realized it's serious in this hair industry. Okay, these customers, they don't play about their hair.
Right.
And I was I didn't know it was that serious, but I was up for the challenge. Yeah. And ever since then, I've been working here. So
love it. So when you think about a business, customer service is very important because the customer service that you give people is what makes people come back. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so even starting the brand Private Label. We thought of it more as a Gucci of hair extensions. So when people come into the showrooms, whether it's the one on Memorial Drive, whether it's the one in Smyrna, the one in Lithonia, the one in Detroit, whichever hair showroom it is, we want it to be an experience to where you come in and you feel like you're being helped. You feel like you can ask questions. You don't feel like you're a burden on somebody. You're being treated well, like how when you go in Gucci, they have the champagne and they have the. Now we don't have no champagne at private label, but they have like the little carts where they're serving you.
Yes, I remember we had drinks back in the day.
And then COVID.
Actually, we could bring that back.
I was saying that because we got the bench back now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Like, we can bring that back. We did it because we didn't want people to keep taking down their masks and then touching bottles and all that. So
Right.
That's
COVID.
kind of
Yeah. So those are all things that make you stand out from other places. So from your perspective, what are some of the things that you've implemented, or private label as a whole implemented, to make the customer experience when people are coming into the showrooms just that much better?
Well, definitely, they call us the Chick-fil-A of hair because we're known for our customer service. Like, I have regulars that have been coming here for years, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I would never go to another place to get hair because of how you guys, like me and Kiki, the two long-standing CSRs, we have been making sure to give everybody the same beautiful experience that they should get, no matter what walks of life you're from, no matter how much you spend in or how little you're spending, like you're still going to get treated like you are somebody, and like you deserve to have beautiful hair too. So that's something that we are very, very big on at Private Label. And it stands out. Like if we have a person that's working and they're not given the same, customer service, it shows, honestly.
Yeah.
And the customers will complain. They will call the next day and be like, hey, I don't know who that person was at so-and-so's location or whoever. They're not giving the same experience that I'm used to because we have spoiled them with a
period.
Or I'll get a Facebook message and be like,
come on now.
I just stopped by the store and Mikey.
Yeah, they will
like,
say something because it stands out, because that's not what we're about. So when it is something different, they will know. So
definitely,
we're very, very big on giving everybody a very, very beautiful experience.
So what happens when a customer comes in and they are not meeting you with the same beautiful experience that you're giving them? How do you handle that?
Well, I definitely like a challenge. I like it when they're a little like have a little bit of an attitude, because then I get to kill them with kindness, and I just like doing that. Because it makes me know that I'm making you feel bad for being so mean for no reason. I'm just trying to do my job, so I just kill them with kindness. Like the meaner you are, the nicer I am. How about that?
Yeah,
So,
like a nice nasty, or like a
not even nasty, like just super. Like I'll be like, oh, you're having a good day. Like I'll try to get them to like, talk. Like, oh, so how are you doing today? Oh, okay, so yeah, so we have this and we have that. I'll even offer a coupon. Like if they haven't used the Atlanta 10 coupon that one customer gets to use, but I will offer that, and sometimes they don't even want that, and I'll be like, girl, you better try to save that money. You want to make an account, get you some points, like, so I'll like lay it on even more when they're like not. And then sometimes they do turn their attitude around. Sometimes it really does work, and they're leaving with a smile at that point. And then sometimes they still aren't giving me that same reciprocal energy, but it's okay. I gave you a good experience, and that's all that matters to me. So
I think that's important when you are building a team. We've even had a podcast where we talked about how it's hard to build like the right team, how it's hard to sustain a team. And Mikey, you can even talk to this as well. When you're building a business, having the right people in place, it's so important, because then you don't have to worry about, are my customers being treated well? Like, that you have someone in place that even if you had irate customers coming in, you have someone that can attack in a nice way, like set the record straight, like make sure that the company policies and standards are still being upheld to the highest standard.
Yeah, I would say that a key to customer service in the hair industry is not to take things personal.
Yep, that's for agreement. It's one of the 4 agreements.
Yeah. Things will go wrong. You're dealing with human hair extensions
and human people.
Human emotions.
Things will happen. It's okay. People are going to have different expectations and other things. If you just don't take it personal, it'll be a lot easier, because it is something with hair. Women just get very emotional sometimes, or something what happened. It might not even been from private label. It could have been their stylist overbleached the knots and the hair's falling out, and we're like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
I'll actually give you a perfect example. We had a client that came into one of our stores. I think online they probably told her there's nothing we can do for you. If she went to a different store. And she basically, we ended up exchanging or giving her store credit on like breaking our policy, meaning she had dyed the hair. It was doing some other stuff. And I'm like, ma'am, like you chemically dyed this hair. Like, I don't know what you should expect, but just trying to calm her down and keep her calm. Even after going above and beyond explaining about Indian hair, temple raw Indian hair and everything else in great detail, she still went on Google and left us a 1-star review.
Oh, wow.
That's
true story. Yeah. And I was just like, I saw it. I actually called because I got on my phone right away. I get the reviews right away. And I called the manager. I said, don't take this personally. Don't respond to the review because the customer is obviously, I have no idea why she's upset when we went out of our policy.
Right.
And I said, I'll respond to the review. I'm going to wait a week because the customer's still emotional and you just let it calm down.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you're in the hair industry and you get no bad reviews, you're not selling enough hair.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because everyone has different experiences with different products. Like people do different things to the products that they get. And it's literally a hit or miss. I feel like it's with any product, not just hair. Like
people say iPhones are horrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
And it's
but that's the
different for us.
expectation.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It could be down to food, down to makeup.
Everybody-
Like some person may not. I love using NARS makeup. Some people may be like, oh, that's a bad brand. Like they're watery. It's like this. It's like personal preference at that point.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a big one.
So what are some tips that you would give other customer service representatives who are working in other companies if they want to build a better customer service?
Well, definitely
experience?
that first one he said, don't take things personal because you are going to get customers that have something negative to say. As long as you know what you did the right thing, you followed your policies, and you tried to help resolve the situation, it's okay. No skin off your nose. Don't take it personal. So that's a big one. And give the service that you would want. That's another big thing.
That's
I
important.
get really upset when I go to a place and I'm spending my hard-earned money and the customer service is terrible. That lets me know I'm never coming back. Versus if I were to get something and say I did get some food that I don't like, but the service was good, I'm still going to leave a good review. And I'm going to be honest in my review. But I'm going to definitely praise this customer service because it is non-existent, especially in the hair industry.
Yeah.
When you go shop at other places, like beauty supply stores or whatever, and the customer service is non-existent or it's just really bad.
That's very true. Before you continue, short story, I went into a beauty supply store a couple weeks ago. I needed to get some rollers, some rods to like roller my hair. I had just got my hair done. The beauty supply store closed at 8:00. It was 7:49 when I got in the beauty supply store.
Okay. Yeah.
I was literally going in, running in, grabbing the rods and running out. And the lady is like following behind saying, we're closed. Like you have to go. We're closed. I said, ma'am, you don't close for another 9 minutes. I'm grabbing I'm grabbing rods that is literally going to take me 60 seconds. So she was like hurrying people out of the store, and then a lady pulled up right in the front. It was raining, and she tried to get out of the car, and she would not let her in the store. And she was like, we're closed. And the lady was like, I just need to run in and grab one thing. Like the site says you close at 8:00. It's 7:51 at this point.
Right.
And she's like, no, come back tomorrow. And I'm like, that is crazy. Ask me if I ever went back to that beauty supply store again.
I'm sure you
I have not gone back to that beauty supply store since then. I had to go to the beauty supply store a few days ago, and I went to the one. It's like one, maybe 2 minutes down past that one. And I was like, I'll never come back here again because that was terrible. Customer service, terrible.
And that's a big thing Mikey doesn't play with us about. He does not like us to close
I
early.
remember.
He's like, no, everybody needs to get that same experience that I was talking about earlier. That doesn't change just because you guys are about to leave. So that's a big thing that Mikey has taught us. No, you need to stay open until it says 6:00. You need to be open. You need to make sure everybody gets in and gets that same experience. So that's another big thing.
Yeah.
Don't be rude to people just because they're coming right before you close. I mean, your door says you don't close until this time, so you need to adhere to that. So that's a big one.
Definitely.
It's kind of like if you've ever been to a restaurant and say the restaurant closes at 10:00,
Yeah.
it's 9:30, and then kind of in the back, they're already like putting up the chairs and
Yep.
all that.
Yeah.
And
It gives
okay,
a bad-
it's your food's going to taste the same. But at the
Sometimes.
same time, sometimes,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you are going to feel this. You're going to feel internally, you're going to feel rushed. You're going to feel a little different. It's not going to be the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to say, if you're in Gucci and they close at 9:00 and it's 8:45, you think they're taking the bags off the shelves?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. If you want to be the Gucci of hair and give Gucci vibes, you got to act like Gucci.
Yeah.
And my rep, she moved to California. And
Your Gucci rep?
By the way, I only have a rep because for
Your
Christmas,
Gucci
I buy
rep.
them all Gucci bags.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I have a rep. But I was going to have her come in and do the podcast, or even I wanted her to meet the staff and just kind of talk about some of the training that they've had.
Definitely.
And unfortunately, she moved. She still sends me the catalog, and I'm like, I'm not buying all this stuff. It's crazy, but whatever. And so it's just kind of interesting that they're training, the mentality and everything. Obviously, they're a very big company, so they have huge budgets for excessive training and this, that, the other policies, procedures.
You can always tell the companies that take their customer service reps or employees through extensive training. Like, it's almost like in the fast food industry when you go to a Chick-fil-A. Like, I don't think I've ever been to a Chick-fil-A and have not been told my pleasure. One time I was going through maybe Alabama, and they weren't like as kind or the my pleasure, but I just chalked it up to, okay, it's just one area.
It was Alabama. Yeah. Excuse me, people that live in Alabama, we apologize.
I'm just saying that's where I was. I was in Alabama. Get it together. So that was only one time. But for Chick-fil-A, like, you're never gonna go in there and get like a rude person, whether it's the person taking your order, whether it's the person making the food, the manager, whatever it is. Never. But if you go to another place like
say it,
McDonald's or a Burger King or a Popeyes or a Wendy's, like, you're not going to get met with the same customer service. Maybe even a Zaxby's, as I think Zaxby's is on that level of Chick-fil-A with quality of fast food. But even some Zaxby's I've been to, now I haven't been to fast food in a while because I don't eat chicken anymore, but Zaxby's is even like hit or miss with customer service. So it's like when you go to these different places, especially when you work in the customer service realm, it's almost like you're going and you're studying. Like, what did they do that I didn't like? Like, what did they do that I don't want my customer service reps to do with my customers? Like, how can I integrate and go back and look at a lot of our customer service policies? Like, how can we enhance it? How can we make the experience better? So you want to also make sure you're asking yourself and your team those questions as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to continue. Like, the problem is you have to be real careful too. We talked about team because we talked earlier about if you do have one person that is just not with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very upfront of like, let us know right away because it's going to make your job a lot more difficult. And we just don't need that. Like, if it's not a right fit, it's not a right fit.
Right.
And that's why at Private Label, you go through 3 interviews and we've still hired the wrong people after 3 interviews. But you also are in a 90-day probation period. So if you might not make it out of that probation period, we'll be like, look, it just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
And, that's it. No hard feelings, no big deal. But it is what it is. It's not going to work out because it is that important. Like, especially for me, and ever since day one, Zakiyrah has been there from about almost day one.
Yeah.
We were always adamant about having great customer service, like just a good team, because a bad apple in your team can start. It can just literally ruin the team.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, Mikey, we were at 444 and there was like this irate customer. Like, she wanted to fight me, like put hands on me. Do you remember that?
No.
And I was like, you were like, just go next door, because she wanted to hit me, like literally in my face, like fight me. And if I would have probably fought her if she would have touched me. No lie. Which is why I'm like, Mikey, I will go next door, because what am I supposed to do if she hits me? What do you expect me to do?
Well, we had 2.0 there.
Right. He was going to become the bodyguard.
What was he supposed to do?
I would have, you got to be careful with that stuff. But, next thing you know, you're getting sued for a customer hitting an employee and you're stopping it. But Yeah, I mean,
it's
but one of the
wild. People are
best things is
crazy.
you got to just walk away.
Yeah,
People,
definitely.
They just want to talk to someone other than you.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's not even your fault. They come
right.
in,
yeah.
And then that's where you have like the next level up. And even though when they're like, well, who's above this person? Be like, that's it.
That's
yeah.
it. Right.
It's the end of the
Once
road.
You get to 2.0, that's it.
I think it was that. I think maybe it was 2.0. He tried to de-escalate it. Then I went in, tried to de-escalate it. She got crazy. I was still nice to her. And then finally you were going to step in. And then maybe I might have said something. And then maybe she didn't like what I said. And then you were like, okay, let me handle it. And then she just went crazy on you. And then it was like, I think she had to leave, or maybe you threatened to call the police or something. It was something real wild.
Wow.
But it was terrible customer experience. And I think that we did a great job at de-escalating it the way that we could and knew how. The best thing for me to have done was to go next door. Like you told me to do. Like I had to walk away because I would never, when I've been in I was in customer service for a while, even through college. Like prior to college, I started working at 15 in like a apartment complex as an office assistant. So like I was always in contact with people. So I know how to de-escalate things, but it's like, what do you do when you're met with like abuse in a way?
And that has happened to me as well.
Yeah.
I've had the same similar story. A customer tried to fight. It really wasn't me. She tried to fight. It was another coworker, but I mean, we all had our coworkers back. So she was like, well, I can take all of you. And I was like, okay, we're not doing that. But yeah, we had to escalate it to our manager at the time. And he basically told us to go to the back because at that point, it wasn't helping us going back and forth.
Yeah.
Or the customer is still mad, so just go to the back. Because like you said, it can definitely escalate to a physical situation. And nobody needs that.
Right, exactly. Absolutely not. It's not that serious. Yeah. Right. Especially these days, people are insane crazy.
And that too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You never know. People nowadays are running to their car to shoot people over a sandwich. So it's not that serious.
Right.
You just gotta, like you said, walk away. And if you gotta call the cops, call the cops.
Yeah. So with in-store customer service and then online customer service, because you deal with online customer service as well. Writing, text, email can all be subjective. So what are some things that you do to ensure that you are giving the same customer service online that you do in store?
Well, definitely make sure the customer knows that you understand the problem that they're having, acknowledge that it is an issue, apologize, even if you didn't feel you did anything wrong. Always just apologize. Go ahead and say you're sorry for the inconvenience. They love to hear that. And make sure that you're just speaking with the language that you would want when you're having an issue with something. Like I say, even if it's not your fault, even if it's user error, you still have to apologize and come up with solutions to make sure you have a list of options that you can give them before you just say, hey, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. Keep it pushing. Don't ever do that. And then if the options have been exhausted, escalate it to your manager and ask them, hey, how can I go about this? Or, hey, can you take over this email for me? She's not liking anything I'm saying, or he or she isn't liking anything I'm saying. Can you please, help me out with this? So just escalate it to your management if at some point you feel you're stuck at a crossroads. But just be professional, be courteous.
That's good advice. Really great advice.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do in customer service in the hair industry is just listen.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just that simple. Sometimes
you
just have to don't try to interrupt people. Just let them go on.
That's true.
Listen.
Yeah.
And sometimes people just want to be heard. Mm-hmm. Now they might not hear what you're about to say.
Right.
You're following policies and procedures.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think you'll notice is, especially Zakiyrah coming in at earlier time at Private Label, is our policies and procedures slowly changed over time.
Definitely, yeah.
Because something would happen, we'd have an experience, and then we were like, well, we're not doing that again. Policy procedure change, check.
Yeah.
And it has continued. It's definitely very few changes that are happening now a decade later.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, there were definitely a lot of changes that were happening. So if you do have a new hair company, don't be afraid to make changes based on different experiences. Because when we have new staff come in, I basically have to be like, look, we have a lot of policies and procedures. The reason being is things have happened in the past that have led us in this direction, and it's to protect all of us.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Right, learn from your mistakes. Learn from experience.
Yeah. So what is can you share a story of maybe, we'll do one of each. So a story of when you've had someone be super thankful or excited about the customer service that you've provided, and then maybe give us an example of a bad situation that you've been in, how you de-escalated it, and what was the outcome of it also?
Well, the first one, dealing with a good experience, well, I get this all the time, actually, especially when I'm helping somebody with drop shipping or wholesale, getting them started.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of information, and I give them as much support as they need, as much as I can to get them started. And I've had people on the phone, like, talk to me for like an hour, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy that you were able to help me. And they ask me my name, sometimes even ask for my number. They're like, can I
call you directly?
Directly, right. I'm like, well, we have a bunch of amazing customer service. You guys call the store. But that is a big one. I get a lot of big ups for helping people get their business started. It's a big one. And just a caveat to that one too is when they're traveling too and they're coming to the store and we give them like that really amazing experience that they should always get. They're really, really thankful for that because they're like,
traveling out of state. Okay,
coming out of state. That is a big thing for them because they're like, I'm coming from miles away and I wasn't sure how I was going to be received. And they're like, I wish I could live here and come here every day.
Yeah,
I've been shopping with you guys online, but when they meet us in person, it's really rewarding. So that's one. Now for the other one, experience where something happened. Well, the last thing that I told you guys about, that irate customer, that was the biggest issues I've ever had working there, was that customer that tried to fight us. And
that was here at Private Label.
That was here at Private Label. It was a minute ago now. It's been like a year or so ago. But yeah, that was like on a Saturday. And, our staff is a little bit shorter on Saturday. So it was just like 2 or 3 of us. But yeah, I had to deal with that. And the way that I de-escalated the situation was basically I had to remove myself. The manager had to remove me and another coworker because we were the ones getting kind of berated over. And that was one of the customers I was trying to kill with kindness too, because I took over because it was an issue with the coworker first. And I was like, I got this girl. Like she can't be mad at me. Like, I'm gonna kill her with the kindness that I usually do. And she still that was one customer where it really did not work. Like she just wanted to be mad. So, but yeah, I had to escalate it to our Xavier. Xavier, our manager. So yeah, and he just kind of helped me de-escalate the situation and pulled me back from it. But that was literally like the worst one. Other than that, it's pretty easy to deal with the customers moving forward though.
Got it. Love it. Love it. Any learning experiences that you can share with maybe someone who is thinking about going into the customer service field, or maybe a business owner who is looking to hire a customer service representative for their brick and mortar store or for their online business?
Well, definitely make sure that the person is good at listening, because you have to be a good listener to be able to work in this field, because you have to learn from your mistakes, learn from your manager, people who have been there longer than you. You have to listen to them and take heed to that, and then follow the procedures of the company. What does the company want to push forward? What do they want to show? What do they want the customer to feel? You need to adhere to that because it's their company. Now, if you are the boss and you're in charge and you're hiring people, make sure you hire somebody that does want to give the best customer service, that is very smart in how they communicate too, because especially in this industry, we deal with people from all different walks of life. So you do have to be able to kind of communicate with different people and make people feel comfortable when they're coming in to spend their hard-earned money. So those are some big ones.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. That was a very informative conversation. Anything you want to add, Mikey?
Yeah, actually, I was out at lunch with this guy. His name's Kendall Ficklin. So happens to be
Sounds like my dad.
Sounds like just so happens to be Zakiyrah's dad. That's my guy, right? So we're going through line, and there's this. It's like a small family, so it's a husband, wife, and then a daughter, right? But older. And I'm talking to your dad, Kendall, and I see this girl keeps looking over at me, and I'm like, okay, first of all, I know she's not checking me out. Maybe because I'm wearing my Built Basics. I didn't think so. Okay. And then so we go through the line, and I go sit down, and she actually came up to me when we were sitting down, and she goes, "You work at Private Label?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Are you one of the owners?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just one of the partners." I don't really care about titles and all that stuff, I was just like, "Oh, I'm one of the partners, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "Well, I'm from New York. I have been buying from you guys for a long time. I had no idea you had a location here in Atlanta.
Oh.
I was just recently at the store, had a great experience.
Nice.
And she was just talking and talking. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. But one cool thing I always do, and this is good for customer service outside, is I carry gift cards with me. And if you ever, even though I was wearing the private label hat, still she knows the brand.
Right.
I said, you know what? I got something for you. Here you go. Here's $100 gift card to private label.
Nice.
And the reason being is in my first business, I had a brand, the food brand Curry Simple. And one of my dreams was always to be at an event or just out and about and someone to be like, hey, don't you have, Curry Simple? Or be at a bar having a drink and sitting next to someone and talking to them and saying,
you're the Curry Simple guy.
Well, not even that. Like, they're like, oh, people always say, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, I have this food brand. Oh, okay, what is it? Oh, it's called Curry Simple. And someone, oh my God, I buy that. Like that was always a dream of mine.
Yeah, nice.
So to be able to sit in a restaurant, even though I was close to the store, and for someone to come up and actually recognize the brand, sometimes we forget how much of a monumental moment that is in your life of business.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that. Yeah. Yes. And the fact that you also gave her $100 gift card to the store was even nice.
Yeah,
because what hair company's doing that?
But I also do that too if I do receive great customer service sometimes, and I'm like, I can tell if someone's going to be our client or not with the hair they're wearing and such.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I have a store down the street. Here you go. Here's a gift card to private label. Might not always be $100, maybe $25, something.
Yeah.
Generally, if you see me in the streets and private label, you come up to me and say hi.
That don't mean start stalking Mikey and pulling up to wherever he's at.
If I'm out front of the store, don't be like, you said you're outside. I'm gonna okay, the store is right here. It doesn't count. I have to be at least a quarter mile away from any store before you can get that gift card. But that's amazing. But if she had a bad experience online or she had a bad experience in the store, I promise you that conversation could have been a lot different.
Like
so thank
Mikey.
you, Victoria and Kiki and the rest of the team for giving that great experience, to have it so someone is so excited to see someone from private label outside of the store and actually approach them is not easy.
At all.
So I was very, and of course Kendall was like, dang, Mikey
the man.
Like, I don't know. We got something good here.
I love it. That's an amazing story. I love that. That's really cool. I think that it shows literally you're carrying the brand wherever you go. Like when you give great customer service, when your team gives great customer service, it's a reflection of the brand, like the people who buy the brand as well. So that's always important. If you guys please go on, like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, the podcast. It's everywhere where podcasts are streamed, Apple Music, all of those things. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and then also leave us comments of topics that you want to hear in the future, maybe guests that you want us to bring on so that we can bring them on and give you guys more of a variety of topics as well on the podcast. Thank you again, Victoria, for joining us. We really appreciate you. This gave a different dynamic, but also a really great insight into how to build a hair business also, because you need great customer service to build your brand. So make sure you guys lock in and check back in with us soon. We'll have more episodes.
We'll be back soon. Later.